What's up, y'all? I do apologize for getting on so late. I let me move this over. Let me move this a little bit closer. Oops. Um, I just was worn out. And then I had to do a lot of other things. Still day 2. It's about to be day 3. I forgot to update the sub count because it is not 28 subscribers. So let's do the update. We have moved to 29 subscribers. Still improving. And it's, to me, I don't care about how fast we improve, if it stays stagnant an extra day. What matters is we're continuing, right? That's what matters. So earlier we did some a little exercise. I want to try and keep I want to make my days to one just entire thing. The only thing that I'm just wondering about is just making sure there's in between moments while maybe if I'm taking a shower, I might just put it on taking a shower. I don't know. Put some on in the background. Something. I might put on some of my Fly Guy content because I do have Fly Guys. So I think that's what I'm gonna just do. Put some Fly Guy content on. That's probably what I'm gonna do. That's a good idea. Put some Fly Guy content on. I want to see if there's any. I want to make sure that there's no copyrights on my Fly Guys. I don't got the access. Let me see. It's good. It's good. So, like I said earlier, I think we got some topics to talk about. Let me see what. Got 4 things I want to talk about. But let's go through the updates first. Updates is, like I said, we just reached 29 subscribers. As of now, nobody has reached out in terms of any brand partnerships or any nobody's reached out in terms of anybody wanting to collab at this time, and it's fine. I only put $5 down for promotion. It got some attraction. You just never know. It might need a couple more days, So I might just put some more money on. I'm probably looking for more collabs though. Than anything. We'll see. I gotta kind of see how I want to do things. like I said, it'll be nice if I had somebody to like bounce ideas off of. But it is what it is. Yeah. It's just a lot of people got a lot of stuff, and that's fine. Some other updates. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any other updates. Let me take the picture. Alright. Let me just update. I gotta update my live picture. We had 29. Can't believe we had 29. This is good. You know? This is good. We got it. You know, the big thing is just taking it a day at a time. And just being ready, man. Like, you know, like as soon as I got off, I was just trying to prepare my mind. Wow. What the heck? I was just trying to prepare my mind for just the continuous live stream. It's a lot, you know, especially when it's just you. So I don't take it personal. I just got to keep fighting. So day 3 is going to be a little bit early, only because like I said, it's you know, I think this is gonna, at the end of the day, this is gonna be, I think it's just gonna be a big clipping, you know, marathon. I don't expect people to join. Not saying it in a bad way, because I don't want to be negative, but I'm just giving the reality. I'm gonna definitely work on trying to promote it more. Day 3 is going to definitely be different. And just trying to stay on as long as possible, you know, like that's the main thing. It's like, how can we get on, maintain? Like I said, I'm gonna try and reach out to my cousin. I want to see what he can do though.
This woman in a green suit.
We had close. We had very close to death. Let me give you 1 second. Let's see. Yeah, this is just gonna be like a major, just like straight clipping. We just gonna keep all of the energy up by just trying to get as many clips as possible. I had to do better with my clipping. My clipping has been really bad. I've just been really just exhausted. But it's no excuse. You get what I'm saying? It's no excuse. But one thing I'm liking about this is like the days, like it's constantly improving, you know? When you can just improve every single day, like I know how I'm coming into to CHAT111, is not going to be the same person I'm coming out of. Let me actually make a change to my sub count on my other thing. Here. Because we gonna need to make some changes. In about 6 minutes, we're changing to day 3. It's gonna be good. Yeah, like, one thing I like about just live streams, like, it's your show. It's like you run it how you want to run it. And, you know, however way it goes, you just got to live with it, you know. We're going to just keep constantly improving on, you know, obviously, like, I'm going to try and get the Twitch going. That's going to be just, I don't know if that's going to be 4 or 5 days later. But each day is going to really, like, you know, that's what I'm excited about. Is like I just am able to improve each and every day about all of these things. You know, trying to get the long form clips out is you know, it's a lot, you know. I just got out, like I said, my learning Spanish part. I gotta see what else I got up. So I gotta do a couple things, and then, like I said, day 2 is gonna be, you know, I think now just looking at it, like, the other people, like, when the established established streamers, like, they got all of these people working behind the scenes, getting the content out, coming up with shorts to make, you know, just finding, like how fast it updates, like, it's crazy fast. So, you know, it's a work in progress. Everything's a work in progress. I just gotta just keep constantly stacking. You know, we gonna exercise tomorrow. Like I said, it's gonna be just constant, boom, boom, hitting it. I'm gonna be exercising. Like I said, you know, I'm just so positive, man. I really am so positive. You know, just a small thing of yesterday, man. When I got my first comment, when I got my first chat, it did something. It turned a switch. It turned a switch, personally. Like, it turned to the point where, like, something just shifted. Like for the longest, obviously, I've been just putting content, putting everything together, but when it shifted was when I first got that first chat, that first comment, somebody that I don't know believing in me. Like, that's huge. Like, it shifted my mind. It made me believe a lot more, even though I already had confidence in myself. But it's that blinding confidence. But once you get over that hump of, wow, somebody actually watched my content and said something, that's just one step. And I think for me, it's like, that's the gratefulness that I have at my standard, and at my the space that I'm trying to get to, you know. It's big. It's big, you know. It's really big, and I think Like it's gonna it's gonna shock a lot of people. It's gonna shock a lot of waves, and it's gonna shock just so many people. Um, yeah. So I just can't wait. I just wanna just keep constantly building on all that we're creating, and just keep pushing. I'm trying to think of any last updates. Yeah, that should be about it. I'm kind of waiting till we hit day 3 to start talking. But it's really magical to to be in this space, to be just constantly getting it. You know, I wanna. The big thing I want to do is just just get that team where I could just get the cameras and just go, and you know what I mean, like a lot of things that are um, a lot of things being taken care of. That's the big thing, is like when you can have that, um, it begins a different journey and a different arc. Um, but man, I just wish I had the, like, there's certain people that I know in mind that I know would be great help, but their situation just don't align, and you know, it is what it is. And I think the big thing that was supposed to happen, it happened. It needed to happen, and um, so um, we're at day 3. We're at day 3. I want to. I don't know if I want to start yet. Let me get my mind right. Make sure everything is aligned. Let me make sure. I'm just trying to think of things. So I don't have time to really think. I'll kind of figure all of that stuff out. Let me right. Wow. I'm glad wow. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's start. Finna just do something really quick. Make sure I got this recorded. All right. First thing I want to talk about is life is short. Just been seeing a lot of things, a lot of people losing their lives, and a lot of just things that I've seen is like, it just sucks, it it's really painful to see just a lot of people that just don't get to see all of their years, their full out, but you can't question God. You can't question the intent of what God wanted certain people to be here for. And it was just really sad, man. You know, I want to send my condolences to uh, the Hurd family. D Hurd, he lost his life, and it's just so sad because gun violence is real, and I just hated that, things like that happen. And I think it hurts even more because it's like he lost his brother years prior to that, and me losing my brother, like, it hits different, so so it was just so sad looking and seeing just people. So I didn't, I knew who Devontae was and who DeMarcus, just D Hurd. It was Big D Hurd, Little D Hurd. Just like, my brothers, we all call it Chat. And Big D Hurd was like around the age of my brother that passed. So it really just really brought me back to that. And I knew who, we were the same age, me and Lil D Hurt. We didn't know each other like that. I mean, we knew we've spoken before, but he knew, I knew who he was, but we never was like close. And it's just so sad to see, like, but I just really pray for their mother and just father, all of their entire family. Like, that's tough to go through, to not lose one but two sons. And I do send my condolences, and just really sad, man. It really stopped me in my tracks too. That was why it was kind of hard to, because I was about to stream earlier today. Like, I streamed at like, I don't know, I think like, I don't know, 9 or something. But just watching and hearing about that early this morning, it stopped me. I'm like, dang. But I really hope, they find out whoever did this, like, because, like, it's so pointless, man, with the gun violence, man, I just hated that, I really hated to see and hear that. But, you gotta understand life is very short, and you have to reach out to people, loved ones, and don't hold no grudges. Like, I've learned to forgive, in the space of, like, you don't want to hold anything, or no, you're not looking. I'm not seeking any friendship with people that, but that, I don't even want to say betray me, but we just didn't follow eye to eye. But just in general, like, I don't know. It's you just want to learn to move with no regret, So, it's just so many things in life where we don't know the time or date, and we always just try and pray for our loved ones, and pray to keep our loved ones around, and that's what, like, that's why, you just got to really send prayers to people's families, man, and especially D. Hurd family. Just really sad, man. So I think that was kind of like the message it taught me, like just seeing people pass, and you just learn to be like, man, I can't keep being upset at people, even though, like, even though it's like, you forgive them, like, you don't want to have no hate in your heart for anybody that did you wrong. And so you just got to really continue. So I really hope that, like, I'm praying for his mother, because it's like that's just a hard battle. So I hope things find a better way to deal with it, because just like with me losing my brother, like, it never gets easier. You just find better ways to deal with it. And so, I just, like I said, it's just sad. It's just sad. It's just sad to see certain things happen, man. So, but that was first topic I want to talk about. Second, let me write about the second one. The second one is success starts alone. Now, the reason why I say that, because I came up with topics that I wanted to talk about, and I didn't want to, like, I just wanted just a bullet point to, like, just go into certain topics, because if I can get a bullet point, a lot of things can just align. Now, with, at least I can speak from my experience with success starting alone, is that whenever you want to do something in your life, like, you want to always, it comes with a vision, and what you decide that you want to do. And that's the I guess first part of it, being by yourself. Some people are lucky enough to have a team or people around to help support that. Most people, they got to find a way by themselves. And with just doing so much research, you just look, and it's like, you always wonder why, like, it's so hard to, because for me, a person like me, I always knew the route to success is always having people around you, right? And it takes a team. And it's so many people in this life that feels as if they're Michael Jordan, right? Like, a lot of people don't want to play the role of being Scottie Pippen, or just great role players, or Dennis Rodman, or Steve Kerr. Like, I don't know, like, for a person like me, it's like, if somebody asks me to help assist them in whatever that they wanted to come, I'm there. I've never been asked, so that's why it's like, I never had that feeling of somebody like, nah, I've never Never. Because I've always been a person, I've never felt like I want to always be a main character or just craziness. And, for me, it's like I've always wanted to support any and everybody that had a dream, and if our dreams can exchange, because it's more than just like I support you and then you don't do nothing. It's like it's always a dream exchange. What's your dream? I'll tell you my dream. Hey, let's figure out how we can both progress our dreams by helping each other out. That's that should always be the ideal. But bringing it back to, it doesn't always work like that. And you have to start by yourself. When I started the streaming thing, obviously, like, I was already at a point where, like, the first beginning of the year, I wasn't really talking to nobody. I was just really to myself. And I was already, in a sense, isolated. But I had got back talking to people, and it's when you ask certain people, because you know that certain people are very intelligent and very intellectual. It's like so many people have certain egos where it's like, nah, I just got a dream for what I want to do, and I don't care if I don't care if I'm doing it by myself. It's like, what? Like we all know that collaboration is the true power. I don't want to say we all know, because a lot of people don't know that. But collaboration is the true power of anything reaching any level or scaling any level of success. But a lot of people think that supporting somebody is a submissive role, and it's not. You know what I mean? And it's all about progressing each other's dreams. It's not about, hey, you do this for me and I'm not going to, like, now, I think when you reach a certain level, I don't think you're supposed to just take time out of your day, because your time becomes more and more expensive. So I understand for people, like, it'll be crazy for me to ask, I'm trying to think, a record executive to, like, at a major label to, like, help, hey, you know, support my dream and, believe in me when I don't have any proof. Like, I'm not expected, it's just the people around you, right? It's that horizontal. And I start to understand why it's very, like, very horizontal, like, where a lot of people are trying to pick themselves up and they're not trying to pick anybody else. So it's very, like, crab in a barrel, mentalities, where it's like, I don't want to see you reach a higher level, so I'm gonna do whatever to pull you down. And I just, like, it's just never been in my DNA to, like, look at somebody else and think less of myself. Like, it's just never, I've never been the one to ever think like that, and so it's important to know that success starts alone, because it's you at the end of the day that's gonna help push your vision more than anybody. Everybody's not gonna believe in it truly. The sad reality, as much as some people are fortunate and blessed enough to have the help when there's no evidence, but in 9 times out of 10 cases, everybody's not gonna be there when it starts. And that's the reality that a lot of people have to accept. And that's the reality that I had to accept. Everybody's not going to be there when it starts. Everybody's not going to be there when the groundwork is forming. Now once it start becoming attraction, and now that's when everybody wants to pile in, because then it's it creates this mentality in their head like, oh, this could be an opportunity, I can help myself and put myself in a, like, so then it's like, and that's why I see with like celebrities, it's like once they become bigger, now they're looked at as an item, right, and not a human being, right? So they become less, that's the unfortunate reality of fame and all these things, is because once you become recognized in a public figure, you then become a bank, right? Where people are using it to deposit money, take out money, and do all these things, and nobody's caring about the well-being of the bank. They're not caring about the maintenance of the bank. They're like, what can I, like, when you go to a bank, you don't care about, like, oh, is the bank good? Like, how's the bank doing? Like, no, it's like, I'm here to get my money, right? And that's how you should look at it if you choose to want to reach higher levels, is that people will start to eventually look at you as a bank. And I know that just by looking at other people. So I've accepted that, that's going to be my reality once things start to align and things start to position yourself. So I'm already prepared for that. You know what I mean? Will it be easy? Probably not. I'm already accepting certain realities. I know that I want to position myself to be financially free, though. We can all talk about all these things, but financial freedom is so important to me, where I can wake up and do my own schedule, right? You don't get those certain qualities when you're at a certain level. So it's like, if I want to reach that next level, I have to understand that I got to give up a lot of things. And so that's what sacrifice comes into play with, right? And so when people think of the word sacrifice, they think of Illuminati and all these other things, but it's just what are you putting aside in order to gain at the end of the day? So understand that, overall, this thing that we call just the journey of getting to where you need to get to, it starts alone, right? It starts by yourself, and it's not easy, it's dark, it's lonely, and only you have the ability to be patient and to wait for the light to get brighter. And once you start seeing certain signs, you're headed, and you're progressing. And it's a tunnel for a reason, right? When you're in a tunnel, there's nothing blocking that, right? There's always going to be obstacles and little things here and there, but when you truly believe, there's nothing in your way. And so it's like, I'm just mentally at that point, right, where it's just things that you think about, things that be on your mind, and just the idea of people, like, why would you not have the humility, that if you're not, like, some things, working a job made me realize that you have to see certain things. If you started out as a boss, there would be so many things that you would be blind to. So it's like, you gotta work as the bottom level. You gotta work as the person that's volunteering. You gotta work as the person that, oh yeah, just go run and do those things, because you start to notice certain things, right? You can, like, if you start at the top, I mean, you don't know how the conversations that certain people have. You know, I remember when I was working at Target or not Target, sorry, TJ Maxx, and you know I had a boss that was a total a-hole, and the fact that all the the workers I was there just were talking like, so it's like when you rub people the wrong way, they might listen to what you say, right? But just know that they definitely are talking behind your back, like, you know, and so it made me think that once I became somebody's like, I want to build a whatever entity that I make, I want to build a culture of, you know, of not rubbing people the wrong way and being honest, being stern, and being uh stern when need be, but understanding that people are human and and you can't think that they're beneath you, right? I feel like I have the humility to always, my position would never define me, right, as a human being. And I think that once, the greed and the money comes into play, like people just start looking a certain, looking at others a certain way. And I think that no matter how much money I make, I think that I will always see a human first. It's the little things of when somebody say, "Hey, how are you?" You got to say, "How are you doing?" No matter if I'm the most known person on this planet, I'ma still introduce me like, "Hey, my name's Josh," right? Because you can see Josh Chapman as the big, superstar, but hey, I'm Josh the human, right? So it's all about introducing yourself as Josh the human versus who you are as a superstar. Like, because a lot of people, and it's so crazy, it just shows you how greed can take your whole psychological mentality to, but it really exposes who you truly was, you know what I mean? But those are the things that I'm always keep at my core of, hey, what's up? My name is Josh, and I could be the highest, biggest artist, streamer, anything, and I'ma still, be who I am. I think so I'll say let's leave that. Let's close that topic. Let's think of the third one. Find ways when there's no way. That's a huge one. I'm not gonna lie. That's an important one. There's always going to be this illusion of like you can't look at things at surface level. Whenever you're trying to accomplish things, you must have discernment to think that, okay, yes, it may look like it's this way and there's no way to go above it, but there gotta be some way around. You must have the courage, the delusion, the intention to understand that I want to get through this. I want to really push through in a way where it's possible. You want to always believe that it's possible. We live on this earth to do the impossible, right? To do things that nobody ever thought we would ever accomplish. Some people just live on this earth to just exist. That's the duality of life. Is like, you come here to this earth to do whatever the heck you want, right? Some people choose to live their life to the fullest. Some people choose to just exist. That's why I think that in life there's two types of people, right? You have people that lives empty lives, and then you have and then you have people that lives active lives. And people that lives active lives, they tend to strive better, right? They're not constantly, living in a space of just wondering about other people's lives. We obviously, like, people like journalists, they all have a lot, things to do, but when people start trying to dig up personal things, and you know I never understood. You can obviously do your research. There's always going to be trails of what type of person is what, um but people are going to paint their picture however way they want. um Narratives are always going to get written, and you should never just fall for anything that that's not true. um People are gonna be people. This the life that we live. A lot of people, like, I've seen the tail end of, like, true illusion, where, like, you were actually at a spot where something happened, or you've experienced certain experiences, and the world looks at it one way, and it's a totally different experience. And that's where it's like, wow, look at what a headline or a narrative can do. It can literally change so many people's mentalities and minds, and it's a powerful thing. But um, uh, it's just, it's kind of weird, but that's the you know you know Dick Gregory always talked about the magic glasses of, sometimes in this world you have the ability to see things that not everybody is going to see, right? You can't take them off, and you can't put it on nobody else. That's the gift and curse of it. um I believe I have the magic glasses because there's just things that I see in this world, because I'm constantly peeling back the layers of life, right? Every day I'm peeling back layers. Like, whenever I'm reading something, and it's like, you'll have a headline, or you have it some certain way, I always peel back those layers, right? Is it always best for me to speak out and say something about it? No. There's a time and place where, you say things, and there's a time and place where you don't say things, right? It's not making that you're complacent, or it doesn't make it, but it's being strategic. And I think that um that's the give and curse about certain things of having, the magic glasses, that, like, you have just this ability to peel back the layers and see it for what it really is, right? And even in your head, if you have, like, I'm so humble that I can think one thing 100% one way, and if there's a different perspective, or just a different evidence, or I'm humble enough to hear and bring whatever perspective into my life to open my horizons. I never think that I'm my way is the only way. I never ever want to believe that. You know what I mean? Even when I give advice, it's like, you know, these are just things from my perspective. I don't see it as the gospel or the truth. It's just a truth that I've experienced. Things that I looked at might not work out for you. So you got to be open and honest. And my best just perspective is to just never feel like you're too smart. Always feel that there's space to grow. Always. Always. I'm constantly reading. I'm constantly that my favorite thing is just to peel back the layers. There's just so many things that we can peel back the layers of in this life. And I think that's what creates this sort of richness about life, is that there's always more things to peel back, because we always, crystallize and if you ever heard of the golden nugget, right? It's like it's gold on the outside, but it's shit on the inside. Because we've crystallized shitty things, right? That on the outside, if you don't have the discernment to peel back the layer, you're going to see it in a great light. And that's just the reality. It's like, hey, that's fine, you should never feel however way you want to feel, right? But for me, it's like, I'ma always seek truth. Some people don't want to seek truth. Some people just want to live in their blissful reality, right? They don't want to be ignorant. And I'm not saying like it's a bad thing, but that's where they choose to live their life. It's just to live a blissful life, right? I want to live a truthful life. Does that make me any better than the other person? No. It's just I want to see things for what it is. I don't want to be under a spell or an illusion. So, yeah, man. I mean, there's always things to just look at and have just a level of discernment, but you just choose the way that you want to live your life at the end of the day, right? And like I said, those are just little things of just always finding a way, man. That there's it is just, to me, when you can find ways of how to build on things, you can find ways on how to get better at writing, get better. Like, life always provides a way to improve. And it's on you if you want to put that time in. Okay. Last topic. Well, it kind of that probably was the last topic. So it's like little things like that, man. I just think about, and all we can do is just build. Build on the little things that we know, build on the little things that we learn, and to just constantly go after it. Constantly give yourself a chance. And when you can wake up and just give yourself the ability to learn, give yourself the ability to think and not rely on ChatGPT. Because right now, we're moving in a space where we have entities that gives us every answer that we want. It's a dangerous thing because it kind of molds your brain to like believe everything that a computer says, but you got to have discernment in every space. You have to challenge things. And I'm a challenger. As much as my AI say certain things, I challenge it. Like, nah, I don't think that. I don't want you, don't assume that I'm thinking that. Don't assume. I don't just take what ChatGPT says as the gospel. I can't. I just can't. And so I think that's what makes me unique in a sense where um, I just like the challenge of life, man. Um, and I welcome it, and I just see so many great things in the future. I didn't get like this. I wasn't born like this. I was not born like this. I was very just I was blissful, very blissful, just growing up. Like I just thought the roses were red and the violets were blue. You feel me? And that's just I lived in it. I mean, it was great to live in because it was just a beautiful, just you know, everything felt perfect. But you know, when reality hits and the things that you see aren't really the things that you see, it just changes your perspective. And so, you know, that's just how I see it. But I just wanted to just thank y'all. Um, every day this is not easy. Trying to stream, especially now with starting this journey of 111 days straight streaming. It's not gonna be easy, man. This is not gonna be easy. Like I just been holding back on just so many things of reaching out to certain people, and it's like, nah. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I can't be afraid. I can't feel too afraid. I gotta always believe in what I'm gonna do. Believe that you have a vision, and yeah, man. So I want to say rest in peace to Miss Pastor Hobson, one of my pastors that I grew up on. I watched his funeral. It was about 2 days ago, but I watched it on the live stream, and it was just beautiful. It was beautiful to watch, and it was beautiful to see somebody have a vision for a church with 40 members and to work diligently for 35 years straight to bring it to over 2,000 members and to help so many people along the way. And so I thank Pastor Hobson for being who he was. And, there was, like I said, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if he was the one that baptized me, but, but yeah, it was just, it was, that's why I say, like, today was just rough because it's just so many losses and all these things, and that, as bad as it hurts, you got to keep progressing. And so that's what we're going to do. Stay blessed. Call your loved ones, and just keep progressing. We out, y'all. Day 3 still is tomorrow.